Welcome, everyone. It's 2 o'clock my time Eastern. Thank you so much for showing up. I know we've had some technical issues with getting some people back on the line, so hopefully everybody was able to get in okay. Thank you so much for coming. We've got people from Spain, from New Zealand, from Brazil, a ton of people from Texas, people from Maine, Massachusetts, all over the place. And I really, really appreciate you taking time out on Friday. Woohoo, weekend soon. Not that, I mean, we're small business owners. We never care about what day of the week it is, but I really, really appreciate you coming on to find out more about your plan for rapid growth in 2014. Now, we do have a hashtag. It's Millionaire 2014. So go ahead and tweet to that. Last time we did the live webinar, there were some people that ended up meeting each other, which was amazing. So they could meet other eventual millionaires. So go ahead and tweet on that hashtag because it's cool to have your own hashtag. So welcome everyone. Today, we're going to be going over a whole bunch of stuff. It should be probably an hour to an hour and a half. So just so you guys know, we're going to be going over that evaluation. So hopefully you got it. But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit. Most of you know about Eventual Millionaire already. There's a little picture of me on there so you can see what I look like. But an eventual millionaire, by my definition, is someone who has the goal to be a millionaire eventually, but they want to do it on their own terms. So they want to have an enjoyable life and an enjoyable business. They don't want to be stressed like crazy. They really, really want to have a rapidly growing business without too much chaos, which is not, I mean, it's quite normal. Don't get me wrong, to have a lot of chaos in your business, but we're going to try and minimize that as much as possible. So that's what we're going to be going over today. If you haven't already, make sure you download the evaluation. That's actually what we're going over today. So on the screen, you should see the link. And if you're listening to this later in audio, the link is eventualmillionaire.com/eval, EVAL. Was everybody able to download the evaluation right now? Go ahead and post in the comments so I just make sure it's all working for everyone. It should be the Insider's Growth Evaluation. Perfect. Yay, everybody's got it. So go ahead and download it right now if you haven't already. Get ready, because we're going to be going through it today. Now, the interesting thing is we don't have enough time to go over all of it. I got through about 3 or 4 last time. What I ended up doing, and I want to pull this up for you guys right now, I want to poll you on what topics you actually want to go over. So I could only pick 5 for the go-to webinar piece, but I'm going to launch this poll really quick. When you looked through that evaluation, which one do you really want to go more in depth on? Are we talking marketing, sales, finances, leadership, personal growth? Or if you want one of the other ones, like we went over business systems last time and everybody loved that one, go ahead and type in the question box for business systems if we haven't gone over that yet. So go ahead and enter the information. I can see the percentage of people that voted, which is perfect. Great. I wish we had music for the tallying of the votes. Ooh, it's a race. Most people so far want marketing. All right, let's see. Everyone ignores business systems. There's a couple people wanting business systems. That one seems to be quite ignored. And actually, maybe I'll choose that anyway, because I think you probably need it, even if you don't want it. All right, so we're gonna go with marketing. Not everybody has voted yet, but we're gonna have to close the poll in just a minute. Marketing, sales for sure, personal growth. Nobody wants finances. Man, only 18% now want finances. Perfect. No, unfortunately, I could only put 5 different things in the poll. So if you do want business systems, I think we're going to do it anyway, actually. I think I'm deciding today. That's one of those ones that we don't talk enough about. And if you've listened to any of the millionaire interviews, it's something that comes up over and over and over again. Perfect. All right, so let's move forward. We're definitely doing marketing. 60% of the vote. Thank goodness it's the first one there. So we'll be all set to go over marketing. Now, the way that we do this, just to give you a heads up. Oh, and let me just say this too. At the very end, like stay tuned all the way to the very end, because I'm going to give you a way to submit this evaluation so I can actually go over it with you, right? So I want to see what it looks like for you, and maybe I can help you out, get a little bit more clarity on it specifically. But at the very end, I'll give you a link because I know we can't go over the entire thing today. I want to dive into as much as I can get into to help you. And then at the end, you can submit it to me to review. Okay, the other thing that I want to talk about is at the very end, I'm going to be debuting what Millionaire Insiders is. And it's all about getting eventual millionaires together in a community and going inside of millionaire businesses so we can actually take action on the stuff that we learn. So we've got a ton of stuff, cool stuff coming up on business systems. Oh, wow. Now we've got a whole bunch of people wanting business systems. Perfect. Perfect. All right, let me go ahead and close that poll for you. There we go. So we should see the insiders marketing, which is that very, very first section if you've got that pulled up for you right now. So what I want you to do, and there's two sections. If you see, you can put information in one or two columns to the right. Use that first column. And this is exactly what I do with my clients. So when my clients have had a business, one of the very first things that we do is go over this so we can really get a good sense of where you're at. So go ahead and mark when we decide 1 through 10 in that first column. What we do is later, 3 months, 6 months, a year out, we'll do it again and we can see how far we've come. Because I think one of the things that's extremely important that a lot of people miss because, business can be chaotic is knowing where you are now, knowing where you want to go, and measuring that. We don't measure enough things. One of the fun things that I do with my clients is I make them pat themselves on the back. Sometimes we don't recognize how far we've come. And when we do an evaluation process like this, we can really start to see how far we've come. And I think that's extremely important because we're always looking for the next big thing, but sometimes you have to pat yourself on the back. So let's start going over the marketing. I want you to ask questions as we go. I can't always put information, but if I'm not explaining things deep enough, definitely let me know. We'll see as much as we can get to in the time that we have allotted. Does everything make sense so far to everybody? And I love being able to interact. I think this is great, though this will be a recording for later too. Perfect. All right, the other thing I have to say beforehand, good, everybody's making sense, is don't worry if you suck. And the reason why I say this is I'll start going through these, especially like the business system ones. Don't worry if you have to give yourself a 0 or a 1. That's fine. What I care about more than anything is that you're honest. You don't have to send this to anyone, right? You can send it to me if you want, but I'll keep it confidential. But you have to be honest with yourself because otherwise it's not really worth it. We want to be completely honest. Rate yourself 0 to 10 for each one of these. If you don't have it, that's okay. We just know where you are now and we know where you can go later. Oh, some people are posting what their scores are already. Don't worry. Even the millionaires that I interview, they probably don't have even close to a perfect score on this. We're looking about progress, right? Progress, not perfection, progress. So don't worry about low scores right now. So let's go over marketing. So at the very beginning, the very first question is, we have a marketing calendar and budget. Okay. So if you have a marketing calendar and budget, you can go ahead and mark yourself pretty well. Let me explain why this is important. So having a marketing calendar and what that sort of high-end marketing calendar looks like is knowing all of next year and what you're going to be doing for marketing. So if when Christmas comes up, you have a Christmas promotion, if maybe in Valentine's Day, you have something special, you think of car dealerships and they always know exactly when their promotions are. That's how come we can start figuring this stuff out. Now, I know when you're a small business, this is tough, but it's extremely important. My mentor used to go through and help small businesses just do this one thing, and it would make a difference for them. Because when small businesses tend to market, we market, and then we're so busy and we don't have enough capacity. So then we stop marketing and start dealing with a business. So it's like this lull. And then it goes back up again because we have to do a ton of marketing in order to get more customers and clients. And then it goes back down because we're handling them, right? What we want to do is get really, really consistent in our marketing. So having that calendar will really help. And having the budget is extremely important too. Okay. Knowing ahead of time what you're going to spend instead of just, throwing money at the wall and hoping it sticks is one of those important pieces. And so if you don't have any of those things, that's okay. Just mark it as 0. For now, everything is for now. And we'll move forward with this later. We'll definitely get into more depth on some more of these too. Perfect. So people are tweeting and now my phone is going crazy. So go ahead and mark yourself right there. The next one is we know who our avatar is precisely. Whether you're just starting a business or you've been in business for a long time, over and over and over again, I see people not getting this really, really clear in their mind. It's an avatar, in case you don't know what it is already. It's your target market, right? You guys probably already know what a target market is. What is an avatar? What is an avatar? Exactly. Is it blue? Somebody asked. No. I mean, it could be. I don't know. We'll find out. An avatar is really thinking about your target market, right? And a target market might be, somebody who is female, who is the ages 25 to 45, who, goes shopping at Hannaford, which is my local grocery store. Nobody's ever heard of that one before, but you really try and hone in a little bit on who your target market is. But it's more of a mass of people. Your avatar is picking one of those people. Now, if you listen to the interview I did with Carissa Reiniger, a good friend of mine, that whole interview, we pretty much talk about your avatar and how to find your avatar. And one of the things she says is that you need to know so precisely that you could pick them out of a crowd. Now, she joked in the interview that everybody thought she was married to this guy named John, who she's not married, she's single, but she was married to this guy named John because that is her avatar. And whenever she'd go speaking anywhere, she'd go, well, is John there? Is John going to be there? And her staff would answer her yes or no. And so that's why she always paid attention to, is John going to be there? If it's not worth it to go, don't go, right? If John's not going to be there, don't go. So the way that you sort of go through that deeper is by really figuring out who is your ideal person, your ideal customer service. One of the things that I do with my clients is if they're already in business and they already know someone that they love working with, we just pretend that the avatar is them, right? One of my clients is Jessica. Jessica is the ultimate perfect client. He loves working with her. It's amazing. It's great. And we just call, hey, is there any more Jessicas there? Right? How can we find more Jessicas? Because then we can really start figuring out, who is Jessica? Where does she go for information? How does she get information about your business? It's very, very specific. Now, this doesn't mean that you only have one avatar, right? My good friend Derek Halpern started talking about this for blog posts. When you're writing to people, it doesn't mean that you have to pick that one person. Let's say for millionaires, I interview millionaires, right? So there's millionaire plumbers, right? And I could talk to a whole bunch of plumbers and explain to them exactly what millionaires plumbers do. That's okay. I don't go that niche down. I have quite a few different people. So I have a couple different avatars in terms of who will be watching my interviews. And that is okay. You're allowed to have less than a handful, not very many, but have like 1 or 2 or 3 avatars that you can pull up that are your ideal client. But we want to know precisely who they are. If you know who they are, right? You could name them right now for me. You could post it in the comments if you actually know. If you know exactly who they are, give yourself a 10. And I know most people don't, since most of you didn't actually know what an avatar is, which makes perfect sense. That's huge. That'll be huge for your marketing just in general. Give yourself a number. If you know what your target market is, you definitely get some points. All right, perfect. So I'm just reading some of the comments. They're very funny. People are very sad at their scores right now. Don't worry about that. The next one is that we know which marketing tactics work best. Okay, what that means, and what I do a lot of the times, is we are usually just pushing, looking for sales, pushing. And sometimes we don't look back and find out what those best marketing tactics are. It's the 80-20 rule, right? We end up pushing, and really 20% of our marketing efforts are probably getting us 80% of our customers and clients. So what I would suggest for you to do, if you haven't done this already, is go back through and find out where you're getting your current customers and clients right now. Figure out, write down numbers. I am a very metrics-driven person. Write down numbers to find out where those people are coming from, because then you can ramp up those areas instead of, let's say, going to networking events never really did much for you, but you still go because you feel like, well, long term, hopefully it'll turn into something. Stop going if they don't work. If you have never ever gotten a client from that or a partnership or something like that, stop going. Now, you know me, I love networking, so usually I don't recommend that one. But just in general, if it's not working for you, stop doing it. Okay, we need to get hyper focused in 2014. So rate yourself on 1 to 10 which marketing tactics seem to work best, right? If you know that, if you can pull up a spreadsheet, you get a 10. The next one actually goes really well with this one, that we test new marketing tactics often and measure them. Okay, what that means is that even your best marketing tactics might not last forever, right? So unfortunately, maybe it's Google and Google ends up changing something because they always seem to. Let's say that is the case. Well, you're going to want to make sure you're testing new marketing tactics to see. Maybe they'll end up doing better than the best ones that you have right now. But you want to have it in a really easy to read format. So it's not as though you're just trying 1,000 things and trying to see what sticks. I don't think we really test enough or measure enough when we do that. We'll be like, oh, I don't really remember. I tried this specific course and I'm not sure how many people I got from it. We can get a little willy-nilly and just throw stuff on the wall, which I totally understand. We just want to try and put a little bit more effort into it ahead of time. So we know what these new marketing tactics are, and we know what we're doing to find out whether or not they're working. Okay. Ideally, what we want to do is be able to find out what that cost per customer is, right? How much does our marketing cost to get a customer? You've heard in the interviews, you've heard this over and over and over again, I'm sure. Finding out what that cost to get one of those customers of your own is how you can start ramping things up in your business for growth. Okay. Rate yourself on 1 to 10. If you try new marketing tactics, great. Most of us do. You can definitely put some numbers in there, but if you're testing them often and measuring them, that's where you get the 10. Perfect. Okay, someone's asking too if we have an avatar worksheet. Not yet. Actually, if we talk about Millionaire Insiders, we're going to be going into some of that stuff. For right now, just if you want more information on avatars, listen to that Carissa Reiniger interview that's on my site for free. Okay, the next one is we use guarantees and testimonials effectively. Okay, if you have them on your website, if you have some sort of guarantee when you pitch somebody, whatever it is, let me know. Okay, 1 to 10 if you use guarantees and testimonials. One quick tip, if you only have 1 or 2, try it. It takes only a couple emails to get quite a few more. And you want to get like potent testimonials, right? Try and let them know what you're missing in some of your other testimonials. If you're really, really fast at what you do, let's say you're a service provider or make websites and you're super fast, nobody's really recognized that in your testimonials, you can say to the person, hey, I know we got this website done super fast for you. Do you mind creating a testimonial all about that? That's completely fine. Okay, so rate yourself 1 to 10 on that one. The next one is that we have a 60-second sales hook, or back in the day, elevator speech. And it doesn't have to be 60 seconds. It can be 30 seconds, whatever it is. But we know when you go and meet someone, you know what to tell them. And this is a process. I was chatting with a good friend of mine not that long ago, and she was like, I still continually to this day work this. But if you have one that's pretty good, go ahead and give yourself a pretty good score. Now, mine I've honed a lot, right? Mine's super simple. I go ahead and meet someone. They say, what do you do? I say, I interview millionaires. And usually that starts the conversation off very well. It's funny. I've tried so many other things, and that's the best one so far. So if you have that, mark yourself 1 to 10. The next one, some people have 10. Woohoo! The next one is our site is optimized. Oh, I'm sorry. The next one, I can't read, is that we collect email addresses on a list that we resell and upsell often. Do you know, anyone listening right now, do you know how important having an email address is? If you do, I'm preaching to the choir. Okay. Last webinar, many people didn't. So go ahead and post in the comments how many of you have an email list right now and how many don't. Say yes if you do, no if you don't. Whoa. So many. Well, actually, there are more yeses than nos in this time than last time. Woohoo! You know what you're doing. So if you have some way of collecting email addresses, that's awesome. If it could be better, or you don't resell and upsell too often, though, make sure you take account of that in your score. Okay. Ooh, someone said I'm not doing anything with my list, though. Ooh, that's another topic in itself. If you're not reselling and upselling to them, or talking to them, or giving them content to get them to know and trust you, then you probably don't get that much. Reselling means if you already have a customer list, you're selling something else to them. Right? Or if they've bought in the past from anything and you have something else, you don't necessarily have to upsell them. You just have to sell something to them, an add-on or something like that too. Okay. All right. Beautiful. Not using it at all. Good. This is why we do these things, right? Don't worry if you're not perfect, but it's very important to know where we stand and to know what's important in your business. All right. The next one is our site is optimized for conversions. Almost everybody now knows how important it is to have a website. So that's why it's not, do you have a website? We're not looking that basic right now. We're wondering, do you have a website? And are you paying attention to how it's working? Because it's one thing to have a website. It's another thing to actually have a website that works for you. So if people are calling you, great. Even if it's not necessarily conversions as far as they're clicking on buttons or anything like that. But if you're getting customers or inquiries from your website, how well is that doing for you? Have you paid attention to that? Okay, mark yourself 1 to 10 on that. And I know a lot of people are like, well, I just started my site. I highly recommend, even you can do it in Google Analytics nowadays. I recommend starting to test early so you know what your numbers are at the very beginning. I had a good friend of mine who actually used one of Derek Halpern's pieces of advice. She wrote a very controversial blog topic, and her site was brand new. She didn't even have Google Analytics installed. That ended up getting over 1,500 shares in just a couple days. And I'm like, how much traffic did you get? And she's like, I have no idea. I didn't install Google Analytics. I'm like, oh, that sucks. So even if you don't think you have a very heavily trafficked website or anything like that, put on Google Analytics, start tracking conversions. That way we know where you stand at the beginning, because then we can tweak and know if it's better or not. Okay. Mark yourself from 1 to 10 on that. The next one is everyone understands prospecting awareness and always invites the prospect to something. Now, this is especially if you have employees. That's why it says everyone. We want to make sure you know who your prospect is. That's in your avatar, right? Your avatar, but an avatar that is interested is a prospect. Someone that could be they might be wanting your products and service. So this prospecting awareness, if you saw the interview I did with Ray Higdon, which was really fun, we talked all about prospecting. One of the funny things, I put up my little antenna, and actually the screenshot was me with little bunny ears holding my hands up above my head like little antenna. Because having that prospecting awareness, always being on the lookout, whether you need, whether you're a service-based business or you're not and you're selling products, even if it's online, the fact that we need to be paying a lot of attention to our prospects, because those are the people that'll probably give you money, or at least a percentage of them. Okay. The reason why we also say we always invite them to something, that's actually from Michael Port, who I interviewed. Always invite them to something, because we want to deepen our relationship with them. So even if they're not ready to buy right now, we get them to know, like, and trust us. We give them information. Sometimes, you can invite them to a webinar, you can invite them to a meetup, you can invite them wherever you need to, but just make sure that you're following up, that it's not as though you say, hey, nice to meet you, and then you don't do anything at all. That loses you money. Okay, so rate yourself from a 1 to a 10 to figure out if you understand prospecting awareness and if you're inviting that prospect to something later. The last one is that we consistently innovate and improve our marketing systems. I just interviewed, it's actually not live yet, somebody that had an amazingly boring business. He says it too, so it's not just me. He creates medical package devices. Interesting. Very, very important, by the way, so we don't die when we're in surgery. Thankfully, I just had surgery not that long ago. I said thank you very much because they probably used his product and service. But the funny thing is, he's extremely innovative in his marketing. And I think that's really, really important. It goes along with testing those new marketing tactics. Sometimes we can get scared and we just do whatever we think that our competitors are doing. We don't want to do that. We want to be consistently innovating and improving as we go. We don't want to just be a Me Too company. We want to make sure we're doing it fast and first, and however we can try and do it to innovate better. Okay. If you're doing that, mark yourself 1 to 10. So we just went through all of the marketing section, and like I said, don't worry. People are posting their scores over and over and over again. There's a lot of zeros and ones in there. I totally understand. But this stuff is working on the business instead of in the business. A lot of the times, especially when you're in the first few years of your business, you're so consumed with doing the work, right? If you've ever read the book, The E-Myth, which I love, you're so busy working in your business that you can't get out of it. Okay, you can't sort of work on the business. And this is the stuff that will provide you less stress. It's planning. It's all that stuff that's really hard to take time out for because there's no deadline for it. That's why you're here today, though. I want you to really take the time that you need to move forward in your business and not just play catch up all the time. Does that all make sense? How did you guys like the first marketing one? Good. Awesome. All right. The next one that you guys voted on was sales. Sales is the lifeblood of your business, so thank you very much for choosing this one in the poll, because if you didn't, that wouldn't have been good. We're going to go over the sales. Ready? The very first one is that we use scripts in all of our initial contacts with potential customers. And this is phone, face-to-face, walk-in, internet. And it's funny, the last webinar I did, people are like, scripts, oh, they're bad. We don't want to sound like robots. It's not about sounding like robots. If you do it right, you don't sound like a robot at all. When I very first started, I was like that also. My mentor gave me a script and I was like, oh gosh. In fact, when he gave me this script, we printed it out grayscale so that my clients couldn't see that I was reading from a script. And I did sound like a robot for the first few times. Don't get me wrong. I didn't know what I was doing. So it was bad. But as it got better and better and better, it has been utterly amazing. So if you don't have scripts yet, we're going to mark this. Oh, is there a resource for scripts to download? Ooh, that's a good question. Not that I know of, but I think I should contact some millionaires and ask them. A couple of the interviews that I've done, especially having to do with cold calling, I've actually asked for the scripts that they've used, and they've gone through and told us. So maybe we can pull those out of the archives and get those for you or something. Email me and let me know. It also really depends on your business. The other thing I want to say, though, is it's not just, phone and face-to-face. We get emailed all the time. That's sort of our initial contact a lot nowadays. So what are we saying? That first impression really matters. What are we saying back to our customers and clients? What do they need to know? Or potential customers and clients, those initial contacts. What are we saying that's really important? So like my assistants know when somebody contacts me, we have an email template. And of course we, make it personable and all that fun stuff too. But we know exactly what they should be knowing on first contact. Hope that all makes sense. So go ahead and rate yourself on 1 to 10 on how this goes. And this is part of like business systems, but it's so important for sales. The next one is that we measure all of the variables of our sales process, including things as average number of appointments before the sale, the conversion rate, the sales cycle. This is so overlooked by small business owners, but used 1,000 times over by big corporations. It's a little secret sauce that a lot of people don't realize. One of the things in sales that's extremely important is to know or predict as much as you can the future, right? I wish we had a crystal ball. Of course we don't. But what we can do instead is figure out, let's say you're a virtual assistant and you know that you try and get at least 3 new clients every single month. So what you're focused on is getting clients. Hold on one second. I need a drink. There we go. Of water, that is. So you need 3 new clients every single month, and we get focused on that. And then when we lose a client or a potential client, we're like, oh, we didn't get our 3. And we're all so caught up in getting those 3 clients that when we don't get one, it hurts, right? So instead, and I actually have a virtual assistant who I adore as a client of mine, and she started implementing this and it made so many changes. If we know how many people we need to talk to before, say, we get them on a first like strategy call or something like that, a getting to know you call kind of a thing, and then we know how many of those calls we need to do before we sell one person, what that ratio is to close them, then instead of going, oh my gosh, I need three clients every single month, instead what we can do is back it up, right? Let's say you need 3 new clients every single month. You back it up and go, okay, well, I know that if I talk to 6 people, my closing ratio is about 50%. So if I talk to 6 people on the phone, I usually sell 3 on average, right? You have to look back through of an average. Then you can go back it up even further and say, well, how many people do I need to talk to in order to get 6 appointments, right? Maybe it's 3 times that, maybe it's 18, maybe it's more than that, I'm not sure. But then we're focused instead on, oh my gosh, I need 3 clients. We back it up and go, we need to talk to 18 people, because on average, after we talk to 18 people, we get 3 clients. And the pressure of whether or not you sell this one person because that's all you know, you need to sell, that goes away. Okay? So making sure we know those ahead of time will give you so much less stress. And then every, month, if you need 3 clients, then we break it down. So we need to talk to, let's say, 18 people, and you divide that by 4. And then about on average, I need to talk to 5 people a week before I sell my people. Does that make sense? For those just starting, I know it's tough. And this sort of is about, if you already have a business, we're evaluating it. If you don't have a business yet, start tracking as soon as humanly possible. And your ratios will be pretty bad at first if you don't know what you're doing. So don't worry about that. But just start talking to as many people, but start tracking how many people you're talking to. Okay? And then when you do close someone, let's say if you haven't closed anyone yet, you do close someone, you can look back and go, hey, how many people did I need to talk to get to that? Okay? All right, so rate yourself 1 to 10. The other interesting information to know on that one is your sales cycle, how long it takes before somebody says yes, right? It depends, of course, on your own business, but some people, especially for bigger products, it takes a while. Whether it be, paperwork or whatever, it takes a while before someone can say yes. And knowing what that sales cycle is will help you predict what you need when you need it. All right, the next one. We use the best technology to track sales and customers. Even if you're new, we need to have a system to actually track this, because having, a document or a folder in your Gmail that has that information isn't enough. We need to actually have it somewhere. That way, even if somebody doesn't buy right this second, you can go back and go, oh, they were really interested if, so many weeks ago, I should touch base with them again. And our brains cannot do this on our own, or not very well anyway. So we want to use the best technology that we can. Now, make sure it's in your price range. I definitely care about cash flow too. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll go over finances. But if we need to make sure the cash flow. So the best technology you can, the best value you can get out of that. If you don't have anything at all, put a 0. If you have something and it's pretty good, mark yourself that way. All right, I've been talking way too much today. I actually just got off a chat with Amy Applebaum, who've had twice on the show, who is absolutely amazing. I'm going to use a cough drop, so please excuse me. There we go. All right, so mark yourself 1 to 10 on that. The next one is we follow up with prospects that didn't buy to ask why. Okay. And I mean, this also goes along with ask the ones that you do buy from you why they bought from you too. Getting feedback from our customers and our non-customers is really, really important. If you're not going back to find out, you won't necessarily know something that could be blaring. So we have to ask. Okay, rate yourself from 1 to 10. Okay, there's a bunch of questions coming in too. Remind me later, we're going to have a Q&A and we can definitely go over those then. I want to make sure we can get through what we can already get through so far. The next one is we have multiple streams of revenue. And if you don't know what multiple streams of revenue means, it means that somebody, when they purchase something from you, they can purchase multiple things. So it's not necessarily you having one product that you sell and that's it. And the reason, or one service or something like that. The reason why, because if a big competitor comes in and does that same product or service way better than you, and that's the only thing that you have, the only thing that your customers can buy from you, then you're sort of dead in the water. So making sure you have those multiple streams of income just provides that stability that most businesses need. So rate yourself on 1 to 10 if you have multiple streams of income. To explain it to, somebody said that they're an author on here. So Hugh Culver is a millionaire that I interviewed. He has a bunch of different streams of income. He's an author. He's a speaker. He does affiliate programs. He does courses, information courses, and all that fun stuff. I don't think he does sponsorships, but I know a lot of authors and stuff like that can do sponsorships. So those are all different streams of income that really help stabilize your business. Perfect. So rate yourself 1 to 10. The next one really goes along with that. We don't have any single customer that makes up most of the revenue. It's evenly distributed. If you have one huge customer that gives you 90% of your business, you probably can't sleep very well. Hopefully you have a really, really good relationship with them, because if for any reason they stop, even if they go out of business, even if it has nothing to do with your service, your business will probably go under. Just like I was saying for marketing, if you have Google and something happens and it stops dead in its tracks, or they sandbox you, it sucks. So we just want to create that stability where preempting anything that might go wrong in the future, having evenly distributed people really make a difference. Now, if you have somebody, that doesn't mean get rid of them or anything like that. We want to get more people just like them. If we had 5 that were huge, well, that's great. You're rapidly growing like crazy. But if one of them leaves, you're not dead in the water. Hope that all makes sense. Mark yourself from 1 to 10. And the funny thing is, the last time I brought up that if you have a job, that means you have 1 stream of income and 1 customer that pays you. So I know a lot of people think jobs are safe, but let's just say that doesn't always work out very well. Okay, the next one. The sales process is as simple as it can be and converts well. So for this one, I mean, looking at the scripts, figuring out that sales cycle, the better conversion we can get, the less people we have to talk to, if that makes sense. If you just create it and change it a little bit, let's say you change your sales ratio from that sales appointment from 50% to 75%, then you're selling more customers, even though you're talking to the same amount of people. Right? So we want to make it as simple as possible. We don't need to have some crazy nutso sales funnel. Make it as simple as possible, and then it converts well. If you're paying attention to that and this is a never-ending process, right? Consistently upgrading and upgrading, mark yourself 1 to 10. The next one, I had a lot of good comments on last time. The next one is actually specifically from one of the millionaires that I interviewed. He actually came up with this term. It says, we use dollarization to sell, so the decision to buy is a no-brainer. Jeffrey Fox is an amazing salesman. He's written many, many books, and you can check out that interview for sure. He talks about dollarization. And what dollarization is, it's when you're selling with anyone, bringing it down to make the sales apples to apples. So if we can convert whatever their pain is into a dollar amount, if that dollar amount is less than what they're going to pay for your product or service, it's a no-brainer, right? For example, I'll use one of my examples from a long time ago. So when I was just doing local business coaching, there was a daycare. They were a Montessori school. And when I went in, I started asking questions, and their biggest pain point was that they didn't have a full enrollment, right? So they had plenty of room for more students. The interesting thing with them is that they had tons of overhead. So they had plenty of teachers, but they didn't have all their spaces full. So what that means is they're paying a lot of money, but they're not making near the profit that they could. So I went through and actually figured out the numbers for her. And we figured out exactly how many students she could be having, right? What her max capacity was, and compared it to how many she did have. And we put that in dollar terms, how much money she was losing out. So when you start looking, and it was something like $40,000 a month that she was losing as far as how many students she had. And so even though my coaching is very expensive, it's not 40 grand a month. So even if we only got a fraction of that for her working together, it was amazing to see that I'm selling money. That's what Jeffrey Fox calls it. He goes, you're selling money at that point. Of course, I would pay you this much money a month if I could get even a fraction of this much money a month, right? Or if you have something that's very concrete, it's a little bit easier to do this. But even if it's not concrete, you can also turn it in terms of time, and then time can always go back to money. So I know this is something that takes practice, definitely. It's a great sales technique. I highly recommend listening to Jeffrey's interview, because if you can get good at this, I mean, even on a sales page, the stuff matters. Okay. Rate yourself 1 to 10. If you have no idea what dollarization is, don't worry. It's still the concept that we're talking about. If you're pretty good at sales and you're really good at finding the customer pain point and showing them the difference that they're going to pay you versus what they're going to save or earn, that's pretty much dollarization. Okay, so mark yourself on there. The next one is we address the needs and pains of our customers have. Right? We want to be making sure we are delivering what we say we deliver. That is a part of sales. Very important. If we're not doing that, we shouldn't be in business, right? So mark yourself from 0 to 10. Ooh, someone says, in fashion, there is no pain. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. You can do this for pretty much everything. So what it is, though, is it's very intangible, and that's what makes it really difficult, right? It's either in fashion, it's either the clothes that you buy don't last long enough, therefore you're throwing stuff away, even if you like it. Like, there's so many things that we can turn into dollars in that. Or if we can't even turn it into dollars, there's definitely pain in terms of whether you feel good about yourself, all that other stuff. Fashion, there's so much stuff. Why do you think everybody buys so many new things of clothing? Even when they have stuff that they already like. All right. We need to move on, but I think that's a really interesting question. Can we get the slides? Ooh, that's a really good question. At the very end, I mean, there's going to be a recording on this too, and maybe I can try and get somebody to post the slides too. Cool. All right, I run 48 fashion websites. There's plenty of pain. That's beautiful. All right. So we create so rate yourself on 1 to 10 on that one. The next one is that we create awareness of our products and services. Okay. Oh, and everybody's amazed that they have 48. That's a lot of websites, by the way. So we create awareness of our products and services. And what this means is if your potential customer or client doesn't actually know what you sell, it's going to be very hard to sell them, right? And not only one specific thing, but if you don't know that there are other options, there are add-on products, there are other things that could help you out. I mean, they might be using someone else for something that you can do. How come they don't know about that yet? Right? This especially matters for like websites. Maybe you do websites and SEO. Maybe you do a whole bunch of other things. They need to know about that stuff in advance. So mark yourself on 1 to 10. The next one is that we approach sales as a conversation to create a win-win scenario. Now, I think this is hugely important. We don't want to be skeezy salesmen. I'm assuming none of you want to be a skeezy salesman. So what we want to do is we want to make it really natural. We want it to be a no-brainer. We shouldn't want them to buy our product if you don't think it's going to work for them. That's the only way we should be trying to sell. We want it to be a win-win in everybody's situation, because then you can sleep well at night. I highly care about this, and I hope you do too. So if you feel like you approach sales as a win-win, you're not just trying to go out and just get the sale. I actually worked for Kirby Vacuum Cleaner a long time ago. Neil Patel, a guy that I interviewed, did too, and we chatted about this for a long time. So Kirby Vacuum just tries to make the sale. I thought all sales was skeezy. Like, no offense, good vacuum cleaner. Not the greatest sales techniques, in my opinion. That's the reason why I didn't like sales at first. So even if you don't feel like you like sales right now, don't worry, you can. Yes, people are groaning at Kirby. I know. I had this belief that all sales was bad, until I shifted that belief. When I got my mentor and he really laid down the law on exactly what ethical sales is, I love sales. Love it. It makes all the difference in the world. Yeah, a lot of people online don't like sales. That's going to stop you from creating much money in your business. So if you only get one thing out of this whole webinar, if you don't like sales, that is a belief that has to change in 2014. Please listen to me. You can be ethical and sell. Gladly. People want to pay me more money. I went to a conference and they're like, Jamie, what can I pay you for? I've had people tweeted me 2 days ago. Wait, can I pay you money? I'm like, I didn't even give you anything. So change the shift your belief on that. If that's the only thing, please. All right. Rate yourself from 1 to 10 on that. The next one is we focus on benefits more than features. Now, this is sort of sales 101, but very, very important. If you're not focusing on the actual benefits that your customers will get, you probably won't sell that much. If you're like, hey, this computer has a 2.6 gigahertz processor and blah, 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 whatever, that's fine. If you know somebody who's a geek cares about that stuff, don't get me wrong. But most people don't. So you're not talking about what the processor is. You're talking about how fast it can go. That's the benefit. This one's faster than all the rest of them. That's what we care about. So we need to make sure we're shifting and we're selling benefits and not features. Because we can get so close to our product or service, a lot of the times we end up selling features because we think they're cool. And that's not the case at all. It's really getting in the head of your avatar and finding out what they want and solving it that way. Oh, someone said, you're shifting my beliefs. Woohoo! You made my day. Okay, so that's sales. Go ahead and total those up. And I know we're running a little bit long. Ouch, we totally are. Okay, so add yourself up. I hope you got a bunch. Tell me, go ahead and post if you got a lot out of the sales one. Now, there's definitely customer service, which we're not going to have a chance to go over. Human resources. All right, I totally want to go over this one too, but you guys picked personal growth. We don't have enough time to go over business systems. There we go. All right, let's go over personal growth right now. We can go over pretty quickly. This is huge. I'm really glad you actually picked this because a lot of the times we don't give ourselves enough credit for this. Personal growth will grow your business. So the very first one is I have a personal vision and I know what I want in the next 5 years. Mark yourself a 1 to 10. You might be good at this. It'd be awesome. I mean, I have my vision boards and everything right up. I'm doing an interview for She Takes on the World about how I do visioning and goal setting for 2014. If you're pretty good at that, mark yourself high. The next one is I set goals regularly and work towards them consistently. Okay, if you've listened to any millionaire interviews, they talk about goals over and over and over again. And considering we're talking about 2014 and achieving what you want, goals are very important. Okay, you need to know what you want before you can go out and get it. So if you set goals and work towards them consistently, right, they don't just end up in some sort of document on your computer that you never look at again until later. Mark yourself on 1 to 10. The next one is I eat well and exercise as a major part of my lifestyle. Please take this to heart. If you read Tim Ferriss's book, who I interviewed, The 4-Hour Workweek, he talked about a story with Richard Branson. And I'm assuming most of you know who Richard Branson is. He owns Virgin Airlines plus a bazillion other companies. One of the main productivity tactics that he has is to work out. Our brains scientifically are proven that we think more clearly when we're exercising and when we eat well. It's amazing what sugar does to my brain, by the way. So I try and stay away from sugar because it messes up my thinking. And if you don't know whether or not it does, try it, right? If this is a really low score for you, make sure we're putting some effort into it. I interviewed Dr. John Berardi, and if definitely listen to the interview that I did with him because we go all into what it's like to be a small business owner and entrepreneur and why we should be paying so much attention to what we eat and how we exercise. Okay. Yeah, you're great. This is all interesting. Such a shame I can't pause it. Perfect. It was Dr. John Berardi. So if you go to my website and go through the Millionaire case studies, you can find it, or you can just search for it. So rate yourself 1 to 10 on that. The next one is I rarely have negative self-talk. Don't get me wrong. Everybody has self-talk. Millionaires have self-talk, negative self-talk sometimes. Our brains are crazy. So, but it's rarely, right? That you can really pay attention to your own thoughts and start changing them. Now, I know this is a process also, but rate yourself so we know where you are right now. The next one is I have friends that are successful and amazing people that truly care about me. Some of you probably already know my story, but just really quick, I made a goal 4 years ago. And now I started Eventual Millionaire, the site, 3.5 years ago. But 4 years ago, I made a goal to increase my network of amazingly successful people. Unfortunately, I live in Maine. There weren't a lot of people around me that cared about the stuff I cared about. There aren't really a lot of small business owners around here, or that had the goals and the desires that I had. Look where my life has come in 3.5 years. I mean, I don't know how many millionaires I talked to just as friends this week. It's insane. And it doesn't even necessarily matter how much their net worth is, but they are amazing people. Amy Applebaum, that I just got off the phone with, one of them, we both ended the conversation with, I love you, because we love each other. It's just absolutely amazing, which never in a million years wouldn't have happened if I didn't put that effort into it. Okay? So rate yourself on a 1 to 10. The next one is I take time to do hobbies and spend time doing the things I enjoy. We love our own business. Don't get me wrong. I love business. One of the things I make my clients do is make sure that they're doing other things besides the business because it can get all consuming. So make sure we're taking time out to do those hobbies. Sometimes we're so stressed. Sometimes we eat because we're so stressed. And one of those things that can take away that stress is really having things that you enjoy that take you away from this crazy, fast-paced mindset. So make sure you have something like that. Rate yourself on a 1 to 10. I had the realization a long time ago that I didn't have any of that stuff. I was like, business is my thing. And realizing that having stuff outside really makes a difference. Even if it's reading a fiction book, not nonfiction, fiction. Okay. The next one is I spend quality time with my family and I don't let the business rule my personal life. Okay. That's hugely important. If you have a family, you totally understand. As soon as this webinar's off, I'm hopping off to go pick up my son from school and then go to my husband's theater where we're going to hang out all evening. So I'm done by 3:30 today. So having that time out to be with your family, really, really important. Rate yourself 1 to 10 because you know what's important. And if you're not taking that time out, not only you probably feel really guilty if you're not taking time out, but go ahead and rate yourself so we know where you are right now. And I know we don't have a ton. Oh, good. People are getting ranking high there. Good. That makes me feel good too. All right. The next one is my personal finances, retirement plans, insurance, and death planning are all up to date. Things we like to ignore. So hence the reason nobody wanted to talk about finances, especially not personal finance. When we do actually put time and effort into this thing, you will feel so much better. You won't even realize that you had this weight on your shoulders. until you actually do this. One of the millionaires I interviewed, and unfortunately I'm forgetting his name, I can totally picture his face, he called it a lights out moment where he went to the hospital. He almost died. And he realized what was really important. And he realized that he didn't have, the insurance set up, the death planning, all of that fun stuff. And that's a scary, scary thing. So please, please, please put yourself in advance. Or personal finance. My book is coming out in February. I go all through the personal finance stuff. I know we don't talk about it that much here, but I paid off 70 grand in debt, and best thing I could ever have done in my life, pretty much. Besides, family and all that other fun stuff. All right. Rate yourself from 1 to 10 on that. The next one is that I never have trouble sleeping. Sleep, very important. Very, very important. Rate yourself on 1 to 10. Right? And if you notice that that's a key problem right now, make a note. And I mean, sometimes it's actually going to see the doctor and not just going to bed earlier, but there's a lot of cool tips and tactics online to help you go to bed better. And especially one that I'm working on too, not having our phones or any kind of LED light right before bed makes a difference. The next one is I ensure balance between work, family, friends, hobbies, fitness, and spirituality, right? We have so many things. We can't be balanced 110% of the time. I totally understand that. But as long as we're trying, as long as you care about this piece, that it's not just work, that it's not just family, not just hobbies, that sort of thing, or fitness, we need to make sure we're at least somewhat well-rounded. Someone said whiskey makes for great sleeping. Good tip. Thanks. Thanks for that. All right, the next one is I try new activities often, right? Spice things up. 1 to 10. Do you actually try new activities often? That gets you outside of your comfort zone. This stuff, I think, makes a big difference. If it's really pushing you, really trying something new, sometimes we can get a little too comfortable with what things are. I'm open to possibilities. Now, literally ask yourself this question. Really, truly ask yourself this question. I don't think we really answer this honestly enough. Okay. And if you answer it very honestly and it's a low number, that is a belief that you have that we need to put some effort into. That will stop you from getting a lot of different things in your business. So just make sure if that's a key point for you, recognize it. The next one is I live a guilt-free life. Okay, I think you guys understand what that one is. I don't think I need to get into it too much. So 1 to 10. And lastly, I have a strong support system. You all know how important I think mastermind groups are, mentors, having people that care about you. Very, very important. If you don't really feel like you have that, that's something that in 2014, we really need to be paying attention to. Gosh, you guys are making me laugh. Someone said I have no guilt about the whiskey. Perfect. I'm glad that's working. Maybe that'll be a good tip for someone else. Maybe you just helped somebody sleep better tonight. All right, so we just went over personal growth. What did you guys think about personal growth? Does that make sense to you? I know usually this is a business call. This is about rapid growth in 2014. But seriously, this stuff makes a big difference. All right. We can't go over them all, so we can't totally do this. But what I want you to do is go through and finish it if you haven't finished it after this call. I want you to figure out what we're focusing on. We cannot focus on all of them. You will go insane. Even if they're all bad, don't worry about it. We pick 2 at the very most. One that you could probably make some short-term gains on, like the low-hanging fruit. Maybe it's drinking whiskey tonight. I don't know. No. But pick those low-hanging fruit. Pick 2 sections, by the way, not just 2 pieces of it. But 2 sections that we can get sort of the short-term things that will make a big difference. And then think of next year and really think long-term and what we can really start moving forward. Okay. Cool. So, and the next question that I have too, and a couple of people are asking this question, do you have a scoring strategy for how to access the eval at the end? That's why at the very end, I'm going to give you a little link that you can go and upload it so I can actually go over it with you, right? That way we can figure out which one's good and which ones aren't. Specifically, if you're picking 2, I like to sort of give the analogy. If you have a crying baby and the baby is hungry, changing the diaper won't really help. The baby will continue to cry. So what we want to do is try and figure out which one of these is really important to you and which one makes the most impact in your business. If you have no revenue, usually sales is number one, right? If you have too much, if you don't have a problem getting customers or clients, but you have a problem handling them, like you're sort of all overwhelmed with fires happening all over the place, probably your business systems is going to be a big one. But start thinking logically from the eyes of like your customer. Which one of these would stop them? Right? Maybe it's customer service. Maybe you can sell them okay. Maybe your customer service sucks. And maybe that's why they're not signing up, or maybe that's why they're canceling. Okay, so what if you go ahead and put this in at the end? I'll definitely try and give you some more information. Perfect. All right, here we go. People are saying, gosh, I love your business model. That's great. Perfect. Okay, so the next one, I get this question all the time, is how do I take action? So it's great to have this evaluation done. And I get this question too. Your interviews are great. They love the inspiration and all that other fun stuff, but it's so hard to figure out what millionaires say to do. I have the same last question, so hopefully that helps you at least in taking action for that week. But then, like everything we went through, what do we do for all of those things? And I told you at the beginning that I wanted to chat a little bit about Millionaire Insiders. I've been waiting. Actually, I've been working on this since back in June, but I've been waiting to unveil this to you guys because I think it's extremely important for you to take action on these interviews. I'm so thankful. I get so many amazing emails about how much you love the interviews so much. I want you to take more action on what we're saying because it's so easy to listen to a podcast and never do anything with it. Right? I make my clients stop listening to podcasts. We only take action on the stuff we need to take action right now. So we only learn about the stuff when we can take action. So if you join me today, you can become a charter member of Millionaire Insiders. And it includes a whole bunch of different stuff. I can go through each of these. If you go to eventualmillionaire.com/inside, you'll definitely find out more. There's skill sets. So if you take a look, you can see in the picture, there's information on how millionaires sell. So that dollarization tactic is in there with worksheets, way in depth on how you can actually implement that in your business right now. A whole bunch of information on how millionaires actually set their goals. If goal setting was sort of a lower piece on yours, that's in there too. The other thing that I think is really important is insider videos. So thankfully, I'm friends with a ton of millionaires now. And I wanted to get specific action steps, exact, like first do this, don't leave anything out whatsoever on what someone should be doing in their business to grow it. And what that means is like looking at, that's Jared. Jared was wonderful. We've got another scheduled interview for 3 more of these to come through because he's amazing and just wants to help. Cash flow, stuff we never pay attention to, crisis cash management. See, nobody got the finance thing, but on my last webinar, we went over the finance. Hugely important. That makes all the difference in the world that we like to avoid as much as possible. The cool thing is these interviews are like 10 to 15 minutes at the most, and each of them have action guides. So you only have to take action on the stuff that's really, really important. Okay. So again, it's eventualmillionaire.com/inside, but there's a whole bunch of other ones that are in there. There's going to be new ones every single month. We have at least 4 new insider videos coming out every single month. Not only that though, it's one thing to watch videos, right? I'm all about action. It's another thing to actually implement it in your business. So I'm going to have every month office hours where you can actually Skype chat with me. As soon as you log into Millionaire Insiders, you'll end up seeing my Skype name right there. Right. So I do have hours, definitely. You can't just do it all the time. I'm a little busy, but we do have hours on when you can ask me specific strategies on your business. Okay. I'm here for you. I want to see you succeed. This is only charter. Like this is not affiliates or anything like that. This is only for people who are eventual millionaires. I want to get an amazing group together because I already know how amazing you are. I get emails from you all the time. And I thought about this earlier this year that you don't know each other. And all of you are utterly doing amazing things. So I want you to connect with each other. You know so much, you can help each other. And so we're creating a community where you can find accountability buddies, business partners, exchange networks. Even one of the millionaires that I interviewed for the Millionaire Insiders gave out his phone number and said, I'm looking for people to partner up with. Since you're an eventual millionaire and I know that you pay attention to this stuff, email me or call me if you have a really good idea. Which I think is insane, right? You looking for a business partner? We'll find out. Okay. The other thing that I do with my clients that I really want to try and help you with also is I want to push you. I don't think we push ourselves enough. That's what I like to do as a coach, kick people in the butt. I do have a walking cast on now. It would probably hurt even more, but I am in karate, so everybody knows I can kick pretty hard. I want to do weekly accountability, productivity challenges. I do this with my own friends where I'll text them and go, okay, the next hour I'm going to get this, this, and this done. Time me. Go. So we're going to have productivity challenges and comfort zone challenges too. So we can push you outside of your comfort zone for sure. Okay. And then the last piece is a special bonus. If you sign up before Wednesday, which is the 27th, right before Thanksgiving, if you sign up before Wednesday, I'll have a special bonus just for you, which will actually take this information that we went through on the evaluation and give you the second level. So pretty much what you guys are asking are, how do I actually decide what I'm going to focus on, what I'm not going to focus on? How do I turn those into something? How do you actually set those as goals? How do you know which ones to focus on first? That's what the webinar is going to be about. Rapid fire hot seat strategy. You can ask me questions on what's the most important for your business. And I really want to help you out. Okay. Nice. Okay. The other thing, sorry, there's tons of questions. I'll answer the questions after. There's also a VIP bonus. If you signed up a couple weeks ago to be on my VIP insiders list, I will also give you a free one-on-one 20-minute strategy session. So we'll go over it personally. And that's for the people, because I know they've been with me for a while and they signed up. We had a whole bunch of people sign up from before. Hopefully you're one of them, but they definitely get that bonus too. Some of the VIPers are going, woohoo, yay. All right, so this is $67 a month. But for a charter member right now, I want to get as many amazing eventual millionaires in there as possible. It's $397 for the entire year. I want you to be a part of the community, and I'm there for you, and I want you to be there for me too. So you can go ahead and sign up if you go to eventualmillionaire.com/inside. Beautiful. So there's Q&A. I definitely want to answer any questions. You can check out eventualmillionaire.com/inside. Let me go back through. There's a bunch of questions. The other thing. Oh, okay. Is it good for me starting a new business in 2014? No, it's not. This is not for you if you're starting a brand new business. I have a product called Millionaire Start, which walks you through from idea validation, and then getting that first customer. That would be for you. And that's, based on all the information I went through on the millionaires, that would be more for you rather than this, just so you know. Beautiful. One, I have to mention this. I emailed early to the VIPers one of the insider videos from Jason Cohen, and they noticed that I used the technique that Jason told me, which is all about annual pricing. And you are totally correct. I totally stole that from Jason. Perfect. Now it's funny. What's the link for Millionaire Start? It usually is millionairestart.com. And of course, today I've had issues with it. So I think it's coming up as a server error, of course. But if you stay tuned and go to millionairestart.com, check it out later. Definitely you should be able to sign up right there for Millionaire Start. Okay, there's other questions too, but the one thing that I wanted to say before we left was, if you want that feedback, if you filled out the whole evaluation process and you want to email it to me, there's a form on my website. If you go to eventualmillionaire.com/millionaire2014, no spaces, no dashes, eventualmillionaire.com/millionaire2014. It's got a couple questions right there for you and a place where you can upload your specific form. That way my assistant will go through, contact you, let us know that we got it, number one. and then shoot me an email. Let me know all the ones that I have to get through. Please, please bear with me. I definitely put family first too, so we'll see how fast I can get through all of these. But I definitely want to help you for 2014 the best way I possibly can. Awesome. Okay, let me scroll back up. So someone signed up for Ramit's Brain Trust and didn't really use very much. That's my fault, not his, wondering why I would do this with you. And what's going to move me off my butt now that didn't previously? That's a good question. I think you should be asking yourself that question, to tell you the truth. If you didn't use it, there's a reason why you didn't use it, right? If you're not putting it as your top priority, that's important. One of the things that I actually stole from my mentor, Ryan Lee, is that the community is all in Facebook. And the reason why the community is in Facebook is because I've also done the same thing as you. I've joined programs that have had forums that I never go in, never check, never get any information on. But when I was with Ryan Lee, I actually was a mentoring student of his. So I also got his membership site. I always check that. I always did, because it would pop up. Unfortunately, I'm probably on Facebook more than I should be. No. Normally, I have a time limit on Facebook every day, and it kicks me off after a certain amount. But I really think it's important for you to actually put that time and effort to make it really, really important. And if we can make sure that it's something that you see often, and maybe we can kick you in the butt if you're not doing anything. That's actually one of the tips that I really, really want to do. And you guys can hold me accountable to this too, is if people aren't using it, stop paying for it. Right? Maybe we can check in. Maybe my assistant, she's on the line right now. Make sure you write this down, that if we don't see them in the community, if it doesn't seem like they're logging in, let's boot them out. No, let's check in with them and find out why, because maybe there's something else we can do. The other piece that I haven't really talked about much, but I'm going to be launching group coaching. I'm thankful that I have a huge wait list for one-on-one coaching. So I'm actually going to be starting a group coaching group. If you do join Millionaire Insiders, you'll get to see the special offer for group coaching just for you guys. So we can start on that. So that then I could actually kick you in the butt, by the way. I totally will. Because then you'll actually get me, which I think will make a big difference for you too. So does anyone have, I think there's other questions, but they're scrolling through. It's kind of hard, and I do have to start running. So is there any last questions? Do I have to be a millionaire? Of course not. That's the point. An eventual millionaire is someone who has the goal to be a millionaire eventually. Even if you don't have that, but you want an enjoyable life, an enjoyable business, even if you just want to feel like you want to quit your job, if you have a business on the side, now it has to be started. I highly recommend it being started in order to join this. We do have some information on the startup process in Insiders, but Millionaire Start is really more for that. Okay. So as we move forward, gosh, questions like crazy. You can quote any of my questions in your podcast. Yes. This should be recorded, and crossing my fingers that all the recording went through okay. I'll be putting it live on the podcast on Monday, so you'll have it again. Whether it's in iTunes or on the website, you'll definitely have it all again. Perfect. Beautiful. Awesome. Okay, sorry, going through tons. If you need anything at all, you can also ping me or my assistant. If you email contact@eventualmillionaire.com, you'll get my assistant, Nikki, who is wonderful and will be able to help you out. If you have any specific questions for me, my email address is Jaime, Jaime. Everybody spells it wrong. So if you know me well enough to spell my name right, you can email me, Jaime@eventualmillionaire.com. Thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate it. I'll try and stay on a little bit later to answer a couple questions. I know I should have last Wednesday's on here as well, considering we went over a couple pieces. Maybe I can get my tech to splice some of it together. Perfect. All right. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Have an amazing day. So what do you think? How did you do?
I know it's a bit eye-opening to go through this evaluation, and that's okay, just like I said before, but I don't want to give you all these problems without giving you a solution also. I've worked with many business on this very same evaluation, and what we do is we really step-by-step go through to improve different pieces in your business, especially the ones that are really lacking. So as you went through this, you probably noticed that quite a few areas in your business might be lacking. You probably already had that idea already, right? The pain that comes from having pieces of your business not do as well comes up in many forms, right? Maybe not making enough money, having no time or feeling tons and tons of overwhelm, getting things messed up, whether it be your calendar, clients, people unhappy, all that fun stuff, especially with your employees if you have some. And so as you walk through this, you can really start to tick off the boxes of going, that would greatly help my business. This would greatly help my business. And I want you to see those, because if we don't see them, we never know that they can change. We're not even aware of them. So this whole webinar was about making you really, really aware of those pieces in your business that maybe we don't want to look at all the time, even if you know that they're there. So the whole point was to get you here, so that way you can move forward. And I want to be able to help you do that. So I have a program called Millionaire Insiders. I want you to peek inside a millionaire's business from them. So what it is, I want to show you on the inside, the stuff that the millionaires don't talk about. These are hardcore people that are in their business. They're not gurus that are telling you exactly what it's supposed to be like and haven't been in business for a long time. These are people actually in their business telling you what they do for marketing tactics, what systems they have, what productivity techniques they use. You'll find out marketing videos on how to create an amazing referral system that you don't have to work for. Insane. Productivity videos that really show you how millionaires actually get stuff done. The stuff that's really important. As you're going through the list of the evaluation, you can see how amazing changes could come about from changing a few key things. Also, there's a huge piece on finance and exactly when you can start paying yourself if you haven't done that already. It goes through a ton of information directly from the millionaire's mouths. Now, the thing is, I know you don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time. I want to do only the most potent things in my business that actually work. So each of these videos are like 10 minutes long. And they all come out with a guide to walk you through so you'll actually take action on it. It's super simple, really easy, making it so you can do small tweaks to your business that'll add up to a really, really huge change. Think about where you want to be next year and how are you going to get there? The other really cool thing about Millionaire Insiders is it has a community. So we have people online on our Facebook community where we chat. I hold you accountable. We'll ask you what your most top important things are for the day. We be able to talk about what's working well in your business, what's not working. And not only that, we have a monthly mastermind group. So one of our charter members was gracious enough. He wanted to get a hold of everyone. He knew that eventual millionaires are an amazing type of person, right? They have amazing goals and they care about their family and their friends and their life too. So he just wanted to go out and meet more of them. So he ended up deciding to start this mastermind group. And what it is every single month, we go on and we figure out which topics you are really going to address, because focus is one of the huge pieces that you need in order to make changes in your business and to make more money and to have more time. So being able to go onto that, figure out what's working for you, what's not working for you in an amazing, supportive environment of like-minded people. You might not have that where you are. I know, I used to live in the middle of nowhere in Maine and built an amazing support network. And that's what you need too if you don't have that yet. Very, very critical to have. Not only that, you'll actually be able to talk to me every single month too. So I can give you exact advice just for your business. I call it office hours. And so every month it's all held via Skype chat. You can sign up and actually talk to me. Give me the situation that you have, and I will give you advice that I normally charge $600 an hour to give, and I'll be able to give you specific advice just for your business. So if you're going through an issue that you have, get it resolved. Ask questions, everything tailored to your business. And I've been doing this for many, many years. I've seen all sorts of different businesses from, I've coached small businesses that people haven't even started yet, but I've also coached, $7 to $10 million businesses. So I can definitely help you wherever you are. The other really cool thing is there's a set of skill sets. Every millionaire interview that I do, you can accumulate these set of skill sets that they have that you might not have right now. It goes into goal setting, how to find a mentor, very critical pieces in your business that if you don't know yet could drastically impact how you look next year. So those are also, it's a library full of content, which pretty much takes all the millionaire interviews, if you've listened to some of them already, and it condenses them down. So you don't have to listen to all hundreds of millionaire interviews, though I highly suggest it. They're very good interviews. But this condenses it all down to find out exactly what millionaires think about goal setting and what their system is to do that. And we walk you through that too. So it's a whole set of skill set that you need to do in order to level up to be that millionaire business owner that you want to be. So if you're excited about this, I definitely want you to join. We want you to be part of the community of Eventual Millionaires. Wear your t-shirt proudly. If you don't have a t-shirt already, let me know. We should definitely have you get one. If you go to themillionaireinsiders.com, so THE millionaireinsiders with an S.com. I know, unfortunately, the other domain wasn't available, but we got this one, which I think is good. So go to themillionaireinsiders.com. You can sign up today and get a special price of $79 per month. It's a membership. We come out with new videos every month. We'll walk you through so that way you can enjoy your goals this year. And I say enjoy because it's a process that I think you should really enjoy. Right? You're growing as a person, you're growing your business, you're making more money, you're leveling up your life, and I want to be a part of that with you. So there's also an annual price. So if you want to commit and really be an eventual millionaire, then you can actually sign up for $597 for the entire year. And you'll get all of that, the community and everything. So if you're dedicated to leveling up your business right now, this is a no-brainer to sign up. You'll be able to talk to me. That's 1 hour of my time for $597. But I really, really want to know you as a person. I can only help you when I can really dive in and help. So the more of you we have together, the more we can change the economy. It's not only about you and your family. Now, I want you to live the most amazing life you can. But if you start an amazing business, and if you have employees, you're changing the entire economy, and we need more people like you. We need more ethical, amazing, eventual millionaires with integrity. So if that is you, please, please, please level up your business. Go to themillionaireinsiders.com, and I can't wait to see you on the other side. As soon as you'll sign up, you'll get access to all of the amazing content that we have on the other side. And sign up and you'll be immediately put into our community. I can't wait to have you as an eventual millionaire. Take care and have an amazing day.